And yeah, it's gonna be a long list, of course, as always. Many animes. We're gonna start from the top, right? We're gonna start from. What we're gonna do is that use live short as we usually do, and we're gonna go animes, of course, fall anime. We're gonna go from popularity. We should do, right. So One Piece is first. Obviously, you know, One Piece is that's first, and then, you know, we're gonna have Mushoku Tensei and so on. But I don't know, let me fix this thing. I think I prefer if it's a little better. Also need to show the live chart text there. Let's cut it. Oh, not so much. Let me cut this away. Let's do it like that instead. Let's do it that. Yeah, that's better. That looks better, right? So anyway, One Piece already won. I'm gonna complete it. Yeah, it's completed. I already completed it. But anyway, you know the One Piece is. I'm talking about that. You know, One Piece. Already watching it. The important thing, of course, you see the thumbnail is obviously Mushoku Tensei is back. This is like, well, we have this one anime going for it, and then we have, you know, now whatever, that's not read. So, obviously, Mushoku Tensei, this is like the best anime, I think, this year, probably, arguably. I don't know why it stops here. But anyway, so yeah, Mushoku Tensei, it's an Isekai anime about Rudues, and it's kind of the grandfather, I guess you call it, grandfather of Isekai anime, some people would call it. One of the first original, like, reborn in the last, you know, New World kind of thing. But it's fantastic. It's fantastic anime. I think it is the best anime this year, probably most likely. Of course, this is in his comics in 2, right, or second core, whatever you call it. So, etc. that. But I think this is probably the best new anime this year. I don't think any other anime is even close, honestly. Especially not in this category of Isekai. There are so many Isekai animes, but this is by far the best one. Mushoku Tensei, obviously Ghislaine is the hottest woman ever, so that doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt with all my Ghislaine images. I'm like, oh, I can finally go on my Ghislaine images. Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't hurt that you have so many. I gotta put up a Ghislaine here. Where's my Ghislaine? Why doesn't my computer work for? Oh, god damn it, man. Very bad day I fixed my computer today. I have so many Ghislaines, right? Yeah, go to my Discord channel. Go to my channel, yeah. No, yeah, it's like I have a lot of Ghislaines, I feel. Go to my Discord channel. I think I post like, man, I was just like, I need to. Sorry, but I just had to pick a Ghislaine which wasn't, you know, too etchy. I was like, I went through my folder there. I was like, I'm blacking it out, and I was like, this one I can put on YouTube. Obviously, Ghislaine has a lot of etchy, but it's very etchy, yeah, but come on. Easily the best new waifu this year. Mushoku Tensei, it's a good anime. I used to re-upload it, you know, get back my original review of it. Not too much here, but I was listening here about Mushoku Tensei. It's a good anime because it covers an actual, I feel, a character, right? An issue I have with so many isekais, even though I love isekais, obviously they have aquas and so on, but the issue with isekais, I feel, mostly is that the main character is just kind of, you know, transported into a new world, and then he forgets who he is, right, basically. So it's not really an isekai per se. It is much more like I think it's a weird way to basically self-insert any person into a new world, right? And then the main characters doesn't know anything about the new world, and their personality and skills or whatever is completely irrelevant, right, in the new world. And sometimes has some OP skill, whatever, from the previous world. But mostly the personalities doesn't really matter, right? There's so many things like that, and they all feel very cheap to me. This anime is the opposite, right? Rudues has his agoraphobia, he has his issues, he has his pervert streak, right, and so on. And that I think makes the anime just immediately there is one of the best with the isekais, because you're actually following, I think, a real person that's an organic growth and character development and so on, right? And then I also think it's funny that, you know, I love all the etchy jokes, right? I think it's hilarious that he's like a baby that's like a perv, right? Because he's actually a grown man in a baby's body, yeah. And that to me makes so much more sense. But anyway, easily, like the best anime I think this year. So obviously watching that one. Let's go down. Demon Slayer, like the most 10-year-old this guy. Yeah, I don't think it's about Demon Slayer. Everyone knows about Demon Slayer. I don't think I covered that much. I'm gonna watch it because it gives me great views, subscribers. No, but it is true though. Obviously, I think I had like 10,000 views the first hour, right? Like when I reacted to Demon Slayer episode 19, certainly. It is like a crazy popular anime. I feel like anyone watching this video has seen Demon Slayer, or at least knows about it, right? Because it's like it is absurdly popular. I don't think I've ever seen an anime become that popular that quickly. Isekai is popular too, I guess. Chainsaw Man is not the anime yet, though. That manga is very popular, I guess. But the thing with Demon Slayer is that it's obviously like the most beautiful anime, arguably the best visual animes ever. But like I said in my review that year, not my favorite anime that year, right? I won't say it's bad. I think it's a pretty good anime. I think, you know, I also have to be unbiased, right, and be objective with everything. And the Demon Slayer really irritates me because either people are saying that it's the best anime ever. You either have people saying that it's like a, you know, Messiah. This is the anime from the gods, right, basically. Or you have people basically being like, oh, well, this anime is not that good. It's like really bad. Like it has bad characters. Like, you know. So either people hate it, right, because they want to be anti-mainstream, or people are like, it's the best anime ever. Where the truth is obviously somewhere, not in the middle, but somewhere in between. This anime is, Demon Slayer is a good anime. It's not the best anime I've seen in my life. It's arguably the most visual anime I've seen in my life. So, you know, I think it's a airplane from but sorry, you might hear that now, but yeah. I think it's a good anime, right? But it's not a masterpiece of any steps to the amazing. But it also is not the worst anime ever. It's also not like the worst anime. Whatever, Boruto, I'm skipping that stuff. Really watching, great Yaya, of course going this season, but it started very late this season. It's an anime, I call it a Skadeglädje. Schadenfreude, right? Very, very Swedish comedy anime, it truly is. It's about a little demon girl that is the most hateful little girl ever, but I think it's really hilarious. I think the score for the anime is very low. I think it's very under the radar because, at least but it really comes to my comedy though. As I mentioned, it's very Swedish comedy, honestly, very, very Skadeglädje, right? Very, very Skadeglädje. About a girl, thinks she's the best one, never asking for help, never someone who's crying, and you laugh at her horrible mistakes, right? That's a cool girl, but I think it's really funny. I wish more people would see it. I think it's hilarious. I think it's one of the best comedies this season. Botchama, I think is much better though. The anime is really good, but still though. Anyway, Komi-san wa Komi-san Desu. It's this which I talk about here. I feel anime has come into my category. It's definitely the anime I'm gonna watch next season. So Komi-san is about like a, you know, like a girl that has like zero social skills, right? You know, it's a cute girl. She tries to get friends. It reminds me of like Hitoribuchi, for example, with my favorite episode, episode 3 of course, where she's like, "It's me, Hitoribuchi!" She has with the beer suit, and now it's like, "Never seen you before. You remember me?" Like, "Do you know my friend?" Like, yeah, that. So, you know, in that kind of category, right? You know, cute girl that has issues with talking to people and so on. So yeah, I think, at least me personally, this is straight down the kind of comedy that I like, you know. The kind of school comedy show that I definitely enjoy. So I'm gonna cry laughing watching this anime. And I think it might be the best comedy anime coming this season. Shaman King, you know, I'm gonna... I'll say this thing. Shaman King, of course, I already seen the original like twice, so on, I read the manga and so on. This is a remake, there's nothing really new. It's fine. I don't think it's an amazing remake, I think it's just fine. I'm gonna watch it all, I'm gonna binge it personally when it's finished. If you haven't seen the original, you know, might as well see it now, right? But personally, I've already seen the original more than once. But very classic. I guess I kind of will watch 86 or hate watch it now. But 86 is the most superficial anime I've ever seen in my life. I've done a lot of videos about it. I never seen an anime be so superficial as 86. It's the most like shallow characterization I think I've ever seen in my life. It really is. If Takamichi is the worst main character this year, or ever in anime, Lena is second worst. If it wasn't for Takamichi, I would say easily Lena. So she has like no personality really, except like, oh, I want to help people, but doesn't really want to help people. And nothing in its world building makes any sense. Like it's like the most childish viewpoint of World War II, right? If you have a person that never learned anything about World War II except just the big terms like Germany was evil, and we have the Soviet people, and then we also have the Alliance or something, right? And you only know that stuff. That's basically it, right? Yeah, I heard about some camp or something. But it is weird, it is ridiculous people comparing it to World War II and so on. Thematically, certainly, but nothing in the build-up makes any sense. Like, in this anime, the people were enslaved in like 9 years' time, where in World War II, with like the Jewish people, you know, they had issues in Europe for like 2,000 years before World War II. But this anime is like, oh, it just makes, I want to talk about here, but it makes no sense. And then everything is like, like almost every death scene in the anime is off screen, and there are like half the character dies in like a minute or two. This is so weird to me. But yeah, hello, bro. It's 6 now. You know, yeah, it's just such a weird. It's that I feel it's a weird anime. In sense, I think I love this anime how it's like so popular because like it's a famous musical performer guy and it's visually decent, I guess. The CGI though is crap though, but yeah, we have all this crying scene on the train and so on. It's also very slow paced, you know. Like they adapted one novel, right? One volume novel in the whole anime season 1. 2 episodes were fillers. It's also extremely slow paced. Yet people are like, it's the best thing ever. But yeah, okay, I wanted to probably really watch it eventually after it's finished, to like just to review it. Anyway, Assassin Isekai. So this is an Isekai anime about like the best Isekai ever. You know, when he dies because he's Isekai, right, or whatever, it doesn't matter. He's reborn in another world for whatever reason, and his families are all murderous people. This I think sounds like a pretty cool anime. Yeah, like he. It's Isekai, of course. He has a harem going on there. You know. So he's an Isekai, has a harem. He's like an assassin. And the people are, I guess, I don't know. Like, seemingly his family is all great killers too, right? He's going to use his modern assassin techniques to be an even better assassin with his hot harem. So, yeah, it's probably a good anime. He's probably OP as hell, though, right? He's probably an OP assassin guy. Baki, not in real, I would say. But this anime though, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe this anime was supposed to air earlier. I'm feeling like I said it before from this anime. So anyway, Shinno Nakama Yani Nai no Yusha Party whatever. I was banned from the hero party, basically in English, yeah. So this is about the main character. He's like kicked out of the from the heroes, right? And he's like, I'm just gonna have like a fun time then and building my own shop or something, right? I'm just gonna like relax, meet this cool princess, and they're gonna just hang out and have like a, I don't know, some pot shop or something, yeah. I'm sure I talked about this anime, I think it was 6 months ago. So I think it was delayed, right? That's what I mean. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was supposed to air earlier, this anime, because I am 100% sure I talked about this anime at least earlier. I think it was supposed to air like 3 months ago or something. But I think it sounds like a pretty good fantasy anime, you know, one of those Ishiki animes, basically like Sheet the Drugstore this season or something, where the guy just kind of hangs out with, you know, his waifus and just, you know, have a good time, you know. But I think it's pretty good. And this anime I'm already watching is a really good, one of my favorite anime this season, right? Pirate Princess Fena or Kasuke Audio. But Fena Houtman is really good. I won't spoil it, but I recommend it. I think it's excellent. It's very westernized anime. But for me, it's by far the best Crunchyroll original anime so far. So Crunchyroll original, they tend to do their own animes, right? They have X-Arm and so on, and you know, it's horrible. Guardian Spice, I'm still waiting, excited for. But Fena is really good. Great, really good main female character. The bonk scene is amazing. I like the comedy. Yeah, Minaida is doing her friend and so on, right? Really cool female pirate and so on. Yeah, tagged up to comment later, which seems interesting to the listeners. But yeah, I really recommend it. I don't want to talk about it. You know how much I hate PA works. They always disappoint me, so I quit the studio basically. I'll play the game. And I'm gonna binge the anime when I finish. I played it, yeah, I talked about it last for Nexus. I have the game here, yeah. I have the game, here it is. Yeah, Scarlet Nexus right there. So, I already played the game. You know, cool game. The anime I'm gonna watch when I have the Switch. But anyway, this I'm definitely, but here we go, I'm gonna good stuff. Shumetsu no Harem. This is a harem anime. It even has harem in the title. So this anime, oh, it's etchy, man. It's gonna be a lot of this. It's gonna be a lot of this. Yeah, this anime, I've seen the trailer. It is so much like this. You're like, oh, they're just blacking out everything. It's like, it is very, very etchy. Like, it is very etchy. So basically, right, it's about. I mean, it's like the essential harem, of course, storyline. This anime is like the last man, which I love for that matter. It's like comic book, the movie, sorry, the Netflix, I believe it is. or whatever, HBO, whatever. The Last Man is a classic, I think, iconic comic book, right? About a man that survives this like plague thing that kills all the men, right? He's the only man alive. The Last Man, of course, which has a TV show coming soon, which might be good because The Last Man is really well written, and it's from the same author that wrote Saga. His name is like Bryce, whatever. Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, very very good comic, both those two. This anime is the same thing, right? It's a harem show where the main character is like him, like 4 or 5 guys more left, right? It's like 5 billion females and like 5 guys, and of course all these women are like, we gotta smash, baby, we gotta make some babies, right? So it's about the main character being surrounded by super thirsty ladies, but he's the only man alive, right? And the few other men too, right? And they have to use, you know, they have to smash everyone. They have to get so much man use going on, right? This lady's gonna make them like crazy. It's obviously incredibly ecchi harem, and you look at the trailer and so on. And I heard about this manga way back though, so you know, when you look at the trailer in the, I don't know if they can have an uncensored version, but I guess so. I'm guessing this anime is gonna have more than one version because if you look at the trailer, they're basically, you know, naked, right? But it's like, you know, black, you know, yeah, they're naked, but you know, they do this thing, right? They're doing like, you know, they're doing this thing in the trailer a lot, right? Kind of showing up her oppies and yeah. So I'm guessing they're gonna have. Oh yeah, that's the wrong thing. This one. No, god damn it! I'm pressing all the buttons. That one. But I'm guessing they're gonna have 2 different versions. Yeah, one's gonna be released with, you know, showing all the oppies, right? Like for example, Kafuku, you know, redo healer or something. Or for example, right now we have, of course, Mother's Dormitory. As right now, right? It is very, you know, which is very very ecchi. But yeah, this is definitely the ecchi anime this season. So I'm also gonna watch it. It's gonna be hilarious. But I like the premise though, honestly. I think it's a good horror premise. Yeah, genuinely, I find it a good horror premise. Like, you know, he's the only, you know, everyone dies from the disease and he's like the only man alive. Yeah. 99% man dies, right? Yeah, it actually makes sense then that all the ladies would, because you can always question like, why is all these ladies trying to smash the main character, right? Why are you trying to test it? You know why, right? In this anime, you can actually, it actually makes sense that all the ladies are trying to seduce the main character because he's the only man left, right? So at least the premise-wise makes perfect sense. They're trying to, you know. Anyway, what's called in English? Faraway Paladin. This I think is a really interesting fantasy anime too, and I like that we're seeing some fantasy animes that are not isekai this season, right? We have a few animes this season that are fantasy, because fantasy is a very popular anime, alright, but it's not isekai. Yeah, it's actually just a fantasy anime. This is a guy being raised by 3 undead, and he's gonna, yes, you know, marry his mommy, and no, marry the mummy, yeah, marry the mummy and so on, and raise him and so on, right? And you know, he's gonna go on an adventure, right, to, you know, kind of save the man and so on. But I like, yeah, I'm just generally, as I mentioned, just kind of happy that, even though, I said again, fantasy as a genre is very popular in Japan, right? Yeah, the fantasy genre, right? Of course, yeah, earlier, Mushoku Tensei, my favorite anime here, right? Coming back, amazing. But I'm still happy to see that we have a few here that are actually use fantasy, because I do really feel like we've had so many isekais, or feel everyone so many isekais, right, for these years, but man, of the isekais we've had over the last 3-4 years. Many of them easily should just be in fantasy. Like, why are they isekai for? It didn't actually matter that they were isekai. They could just be like a fantasy anime. Being isekai didn't actually, you know, do anything for them, right? Like the main character could have been born there. Anyway, Platinum End is Battle Royale anime. So, you know, I like Battle Royale animes. I like Miraniki. The main character's name is Mirai, like means future in Japanese. This, I think, looks like a good new anime, perhaps. Or actually, I say this thing, it probably isn't fantastic, but I just like that. I don't know what it is. I think a lot of people probably feel the same thing like me. The whole Battle Royale, you know, Hunger Games, obviously Battle Royale, right, the movie and so on, and similar than other animes, like for example, Darwin's Game, yeah, you know, etc. Batum I love, yeah, Batum, I get that, man. It's just like, these animes are just I don't know what it is, right? But I just enjoy them. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I have a sweet spot definitely for Battle Royale animes. I have a sweet spot for this kind of having children fighting each other, usually children, but I mean generally, you know, we have what's it called again? Oh, it's that. Oh my god, I'm blanking. Sunny Boy with the season course. When you have the children put in this island, right? Yeah, like Lords of the Fly. I always just liked it. But yeah, good comment there. Yeah, of course. Unisha, forgot to publish a video. Great comment. Give me a second. Yeah, we just watched Unisha. Forgot to publish the video. Actually, I did. The thing is with YouTube. Right? The thing is that I upload to YouTube, and then you have to wait for. You have to wait for like 10 minutes or so until it uploads on YouTube. This has become way worse. The latest, I don't know, let's say 2-3 months or so. It didn't used to be this long. Maybe it's because my channel isn't big enough. It's probably faster if you have a bigger channel and so on. And I read people complaining it much longer. If you have a smaller channel, it probably takes even longer time, right? I have 2 other channels. I haven't tried on those. I haven't thought about it. I don't upload that as regularly. But yeah, for YouTube, the thing is that I forgot to publish. So basically, I upload my video, right, for Nisha, my reaction, and then I have to basically have to also remember to how to say it, you know, to publish the video. Actually, I have to wait for like 10 minutes, and then I have to, you know, go back and like also press the publish button, which is like, yeah, because if you don't, you can think, why don't you just publish it automatically? But if you do that, the thumbnail doesn't get the right thumbnail. It gets like nothing. So you have to do it at the same time. At least what I know. It's really weird. You have to wait until it looks correct on your in the channel, in the studio channel. I think it is really weird. But that's a great comment. But I forgot about it. I'm just fixing it now. I can actually publish that reaction video, which it happens to me. Honestly, happens to me way too frequently. This issue is way too frequent, right? But because I stopped doing something else, right? I stopped doing something else, and then I like, oh, where was I? You know. But yeah, sorry for that. Just published the Onishan video. But yeah, very very because I had of course finished that anime a few 30 minutes ago. But anyway, let's go on. But yeah, Daughter of Death of the Bakuman, you know, as I talked about, sorry for the I just forgot about the video, yeah. But yeah, I am weak for those death games. Anyway, Mieruko-chan, definitely I think it's a good anime. And I watched Anime Course 2 next season. So Mieruko-chan is like a horror comedy show. So basically it's about a girl, right, a cute little, you know, typical teenage girl, and she has her friends, they're all kawaii and so on, right, and she can see ghosts and dead people, but no one else can see them, and she's getting all afraid and getting all this, like, you know, horror shit in her face, right, like, yeah, some weird horror stuff happening. It's unique kind of lifestyle, right, and it's basically paid for comedy, though. She's like fighting these monsters. She's getting scared and cries and so on, right? And no one believes her. She's kind of crazy. So I think it's like a really fun comedy anime. It's like a horror comedy in a weird way. I definitely gonna watch it. It's probably one of the better comedy animes. Kind of effed up anime, honestly. And here's another like, you know, how say it, horror show. So in this show then, Shinka no Mi Shirena Uchina Kashigume Jinsei. The main character, he basically meets like a gorilla. This is like a horror anime. So he basically meets, I always love it, you know, his bully, has no friends, you know, his fantasies, blah, 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 that kind of typically, you know, setting, right? Then he meets this like pink, furry gorilla woman, I guess then, that looks kind of, oh yeah, you know. And she's like, I can do anything for you. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess, you know, become a hot woman. Basically, right? And then this gorilla chick turns into this hot babe, yeah, and so he has a horror. I'm just like, it looks decent to me, but I'm always gonna watch it because, at least episode 1, right, because the main character has this like horror going on. Like the main girl's actually a muscular gorilla, but she turns into like a hot chick. He's like, I need a babe. What it reminds me of is this College Humor video. When they, in College Humor, they made this video many years ago. It was like, what if Ghibli movies were made by other anime studios, right? And that was like, you know, My Neighbor Totoro, right? And he's like, My Neighbor Totoro, of course Totoro would be a babe with huge tits, right? So yeah, if in other anime studios, it kind of feels like that. He meets a gorilla, and he's like, oh, a gorilla, what can I do for you in this isekai? And he's like, oh, I want to have like a girlfriend or something. And then the gorilla is like, oh, sure, I can be I like gorillas. He's like, yeah, let's F. And she's like, yeah, let's smash. You know? And then, yeah, the gorilla turns into an attractive babe, because that makes sense. But yeah, see, we have next Mappa show. Tucked Up Destiny, mentioned earlier in the chat. Which, you know, really, as soon as I saw this thing, as soon as immediately when I saw this promo art, I was like, listeners, right? So Mappa did listeners, was it last year, whatever it was, and I don't know, it has the same, it's probably the same person that did the art, right? I think it has to be, I mean, it's obviously Mappa in the same studio. It really looks like the same studio, in my opinion. Just how they kind of draw the ground, the character, her ass there. I don't know, but it screams Mappa for some reason. It screams Mappa, original work. I will say this thing though, and I wrote about it in the description. It is a mixed media project, and it's a many mixed media project system. I am not too keen on this anime. It's like an anime, it's also a mobile game, and it's like some kind of manga or something, and it's some kind of treasure hunt or whatever, and it's like a live action stuff, I don't know. But this is yet another anime where it's like a new anime, but it seems to be taking place in, you know, many other stuff too, and to get the full picture, you have to see all of it, right? So I'm gonna put it on that, where I feel a little bit, because Mappa and Madhouse together, that really sounds awesome, even though listener, I felt the storyline was completely whack after a while. It looked cool, and the opening's awesome, but that's like what happening. And this is like a musical focused anime too, right? So it's probably gonna be, again, similar to listeners, right? Definitely it's gonna be similar to listeners. But I'm a little afraid when I'm just like, oh, it's like everything, it's like a game or something, it's like a mobile game, and we're gonna have more animes coming down to the list. So I can say here immediately that I think that animes are going in that direction more and more, which I don't think is a good thing. We just, you know, I just had it here as called Nexus, right? Yeah, I think that you see it all more and more, right? Especially with music animes, I guess. But you see it more and more where the studios are like, oh, we're gonna make a video game, right? A mobile game, and we're gonna make an anime, and we're gonna have some kind of like, I guess, like a live action performance, and we're gonna have this thing going on and this thing going on. We're gonna make some ecchi doshinis on the side. I don't know, but I feel this anime might be completely, it might be awesome, but also it might be like, oh, you watched the anime, and it's like you better go play the game to understand the storyline, right? Or it's just, it might be like a promotion for the game, right? Like this Codex anime. I think this anime, again, it's fine, right? But like it's clearly used like the video game in a shorter version. Yeah, like you might just play the video game instead. But anyway, this is definitely watching. Senpai is annoying. Yeah, Senpai Geurusai Kuhai no Hanashi. So it's Doga Kobo, which is like a classic, you know, slice of life studio. They make a lot of basically, you know, cute girls done cute stuff, right? Yeah, that is Doga Kobo. They're famous for their cute girls. Yeah, and this anime I think it's really fun. It's about a short little chibi woman, right? And she has this like huge, tall, like 3 meter tall senpai. They keep teasing her, like, you know, kind of like an Alice or Nagato or whatever. Right? Keeps like annoying her, and but she's obviously in love with him, so she doesn't stop him from teasing her. And he's all like, "Hey, little girl," you know, and all. He's all annoying in her face, right? And she's clearly in love with him, but can't of course say it, and she also finds him very irritating, right? So I think it sounds really fun. Sounds like. I guess for once then it's the kawaii getting bullied by instead of being senpai, it's gonna be kawaii. But I think it's really fun. Obviously, you know, I'm a huge fan of Nagatoro, and I love to show my mouse pad. You know, I love, you know, my Usagi Oppai mouse pad and so on. You know, very important. My most precious item that I have in my life. You know, my Usagi-chan mouse pad. But I just think that. You know, I have several different mouse pads over these years, right? You know, for my mouse, Oppai pads, and I have an ass pad that's a follow. But I was buying a new mouse pad last year, and of course I was like looking through the different art, right? And I was like, Usagi, she's quite famous for her mouse pad, right? I was like, okay, it just made perfect sense to me to buy the Usagi mouse pad, you know, and she's kind of a. Yeah, it's perfect, I think. Anyway, Isekai is not anime. Like the rest of that, I don't know. I never liked the one. Whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna go on. World Trigger, likewise. I guess an anime. One day, maybe I'll pick it up. This though, interesting. Blue Period. So, Blue Period is about a guy who's into art, right? That becomes like an artist. It's about drawing and so on. So I like it. It's an interesting. It's clearly like a shonen show, right? and they're gonna fight by art, right? Fight by drawing. It's interesting. It's one of these other kind of like we see for example, Soma, probably the most famous example of that, I guess, where you know, they make food, right? But it's made in like a shonen way. They fight, right? Of course, there are other food animes too. But I mean that, you know, that kind of shonen stuff is definitely coming more and more. No, it's saying here, but you know, I mean, kind of fighting, kind of do this stuff and so on, right? So I kind of liked it generally. That we're seeing more shonen and seinen than shows that are more like, oh, it's about a guy doing art or a guy doing cooking, a guy doing this thing. Shadow House, yeah, that's awesome. Shadow House is a really good anime. I think one of the best anime that season, and for being from Clover, that kind of failed with all the other animes. I'm surprised too, because that studio, right, Clover Studio, they almost failed, I think, with almost every other anime they did that this year. But Shadow House was awesome, but I mean, they did was Promised Neverland. It was like, Emma! It was like the worst thing ever. And One Drake Priority, that was good in the beginning, and then they dropped the ball heavily and so on. Very disappointed. But yeah, Osama ranking is from Witch Studios, the Attack on Titan studios, one very famous, right? But this is like this weird, I think, very Japanese comedy style about like yeah, deaf prince that lacks social awareness and kind of ability to kind of run around. It looks really weird to me. I'm gonna watch it, but I don't know if it's good or not. But I just feel it looks like a very weird anime. You have to watch it though. Is it 4-pan comedy? It's definitely like a comedy fantasy, right? I'm just wondering if it's 4-pan or not. I am watching Die. I don't know what image it's going there, but Die is awesome. I really love Die, man. I watch it every week. It's awesome. Very classic, old school, you know, shonen storyline. Obviously, I played every Dragon Quest game, so I'm a big fan of that. The game series, right? This anime is claimed to be released already, also earlier today, but I can't find it anywhere because that date has passed. How is it? Space, vampires, maybe romance. It's like in the future we have sci-fi, we have vampires, and shit happens. I don't know. This though, I think it will be interesting. So, Kuketsu Sugishino, it's like a, how I say this thing for Mada, so this could do as well. It's like Van Helsing the comedy, right? It's like this guy is hunting vampires, but this guy is too weak. He didn't hurt the people, so let's be friends instead or something. And then they kind of hang out and they have like a comedy with different supernatural monsters and so on, right? Like kind of a vampire slayer and so on, living together with the vampire and they're having a hoot. But I think it looks really fun. Honestly, I think it looks really fun. It's a good comedy action anime, right? This anime, Taisho Otome, okay, how did this word? Otogi Banashi? Probably watch that word. Otome, yeah, Otogi Banashi, I don't know the word. But anyway, Taisho, of course, Taisho, I know. Yeah, Taisho Otome, I know. But anyway, this anime reminds me a little bit of Tonikaku when I watch the trailers. So it's about kind of a guy, you know, loses his hand, hates his parents, whatever, so on, right, kind of lives alone. And then suddenly this cute girl is on his doorstep. It's like, oh, I'm your wife now. Your father basically bought me. I'm gonna be your wife now. And they have to live together, and it's kind of awkward, right? And he's like, oh no, we can't hold hands because that's like doing it in anime, and they can have a Tonikaku feel to it. To me, it looks like a Tonikaku, but less fun, honestly. When I look at the first chapter and the trailer and so on, maybe it's good. I'm gonna leave and say it looks decent. A rom-com, of course, with, you know, married the first day they met kind of thing. Yeah, that looks decent. This anime, though, I think is very interesting. Sakugan, which is it's like, you know, a Vunsai, I guess, I suppose. There's like a father and his young daughter. So immediately I like, you know, spunky tomboy girls. So his daughter is like a sort of decadence, definitely, the anime. You know, kind of like a spunky teenage girl, right, and her old dad, and they're living in this kind of future space colony thing, or something like that, where they have to mine these powerful rocks, right? And then, of course, they, you know, they're running around, exploring, fighting space stuff and so on, right? Her, of course, dreaming of being the greatest space hunter, basically, right? And her father's like, I'm too old for this stuff, I don't want to be it anymore, right? But of course, he's an experienced space guy. And with the little girl, then they're gonna go around and, you know, have an adventure. But honestly, I think it looks pretty cool. I think it looks like a pretty cool anime. Definitely. But I also just like the, you know, the spunky little girl, you know, kind of like Akko or something. Yeah, I just like that. Conan obviously goes forever. And he's more of this That's what I mean, you know, the kind of comes to everything. A lot of this weird. It sounds like 86, honestly. Yeah, parallel world. It's like this anime is like, okay, so it's sci-fi, isekai, you know, yeah, harem. It's like every genre at the same time anime. That's what I feel. When like, well, this anime is like everything, and it's done by like 3 companies, and it's like a mixed media project, and it's like, yeah, it's military, mecha, sci-fi, fantasy, isekai, harem, and it's like every genre we could come up with at the same time, and it's done by like at least 4 different companies also at the same time. You're like, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And here again, Deep Inside the Lost Child. So as I said earlier, right? There's so many animes I feel now coming this media project where it's like, okay, this is actually done by several companies. This is a mixture with this thing. It's also a game or something. It's also some kind of musical. I don't know, right? But it's like all this stuff. But basically in this world, the guy can't sleep, right? And it's kind of going crazy. It has a cool design. I like the female. You see this badass, like crimson-clad woman in the art and so on. Maybe it's good, but I'm gonna say, as I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of a bit worried about all this. Like, here's an anime, but it's also a video game, and it's also this the editor. But yeah, I give it the same critique to all the other animes. I feel a little bit like this season is like 4 of these animes, right? I'm a big fan of it. So anyway, let's go on then. So this is an original anime, hard. I always know what about that. Shiki Sakura, which seems kind of like a shoujo action drama, right? But a cute girl fighting, transforming into like I wouldn't call it like that, but you know, it's something like a magical girl, right? Shoujo, yeah, shoujo Mao kind of character, and you know, she fights the Unis and whatever. Yeah, looks decent. But yeah, Deep Insanity is Square Enix, you know, they're making a game, so you know, it's way too many companies involved. And this is yet another one. It's the same thing. Build Divide, Code Black. This is also, I think, a game. Yeah, it's a game. It's a fantasy game. It's an anime. It's a manga on the same time. It's like the 4th one this season. That's why I'm a little bit like, maybe I'm only gonna watch like 5 anime next season. I watch like Demon Slayer, Mushoku Tensei, and these comedy shows, because all of these shows, which is like, this is actually a video game, right? Made as an anime, and it's supposed to also promote like a mobile game or something, because they make a lot of money on that. So that's kind of what the actual goal is, right? To make you watch this anime, and then you're gonna go and buy this Build Divide and pay the gacha. You know, that's how they get you, right? So I feel really like I'm not really feeling it. Like the 4th anime this season here, we have the goal to basically make you play the game, right? Yeah, I'm not really feeling that. I'm not feeling it, you know. And it's like a card game or whatever. Yeah, I'm just like, it has so much stuff around it. This, of course, is Inuyasha, yeah, the spin-off, which I haven't watched yet, the first one. But, you know, very classic. Very, very classic. And then we have another mecha anime. This I'm more excited for more. Kyokai Senki, yeah. Kind of a classic mecha anime, right? You know, guys fighting in the future and so on. But the regular anime, I don't get so too much though, but you know, a little more excited. And then now we're getting into like, the bottom tier here. I haven't been that Tesla note. Well, I can put the Tesla stocks, be interesting. No, it's like a ninja girl, gambits. I don't know, honestly. I feel this season is. Oh yeah, this is interesting. I'm gonna jump down quickly here now then. This season is like, holy shit, man, this looks so horrible. Let's talk about it quickly. Blade Runner. This is like Crunchyroll original something. It's not X-Arm bad. It doesn't look X-Arm bad, right? But it looks, it's like a CGI show. It looks just terrible. If you watch the episode, it looks terrible. It's Adult Swim, Crunchyroll again, right? But this is what I mean with my Fina reviews, episode 1 of Fina. If you've seen X-Arm and this other Crunchyroll original stuff, it's so bad, right? You feel like this is crap, it's just so crappy. And then you get like something like Fina, like, oh my, this looks amazing. Then you see this again and like, oh, this is kind of what I expect from Crunchyroll, right? So kind of really ugly CGI shit, right? Yeah. It looks terrible. Doesn't look to be like an anime for that matter. Blade Runner is like an old movie, right? I don't know why it's even anime. Is it an anime? Is this an anime? I don't think it's an anime. This is arguably not an anime. Have they done something before? Solo, digital arts. Oh yeah, Ultraman, yeah, also CGI of course. I guess they made some other. Yeah, but it's also like This is not anime either, right? Yeah, the same thing, right? It's like a, you know, westernized American CGI stuff. So, you know, probably should even be here. Not even anime. Like, but it looks, I think it looks terrible, right? And here again, this is another mixed media project. This is what I mentioned earlier. I feel this season to me, I'm gonna skip over probably all this, maybe not all of them, but I feel this is yet another action sci-fi mixed media produced video game, you know, something, let's sell the toys also, kind of stuff, right? I think it looks a lot like Sentinel, 13 Sentinels when I see the art though, but you know, all the humans are destroyed, you have to fight this. It really doesn't look like 13 Sentinel. We have to fight these mechas, right, from space, and your mechas and so on. Even looks exactly like the place in a warehouse in 13 Sentinel. It looks incredibly much like 13 Sentinel, honestly. But yet another anime where I feel like, oh, it's like all this other stuff. Yeah, I really don't care that much. And then we got into the bottom here of you know, hot vampire boys. I just feel like, should I care anymore? It's original. Many mecha season. You describe it as a mecha and fantasy season. This looks better though, honestly. Yeah, definitely. Gakkan, Sekai, no, Densho Shoujo, you know, cute girls don't mecha. No, actually, this is pretty decent. The other one is like some kind of, you know, yaoi, hot boys, musical, vampire, right? This though, you know, it's like cute girls, history, mechas, you know, this could be good, man. Parallel universe, Japan, right? Cute soldier girls fighting and so on. This could be good. It could be good. Michael goes every season, and this is like ACMR anime. I guess they're going out with every kind of anime they can do, right? It's like listening to, I guess, female speaking. So if you're into ACMR, I guess this could be a good anime for you. It's obviously short, so it's like I guess a few minutes per episode. So if you want to listen to a woman's doing, yeah, it's very weird. But I guess they're trying to capitalize on everything. Is it an anime for everything? Oh, anime tennis, anime for ACMR, yeah, I suppose, right? And now it's more pretty boys. Oh, Dorikobo again though. You have to watch everything from Dorikobo though, yeah. So pretty girls done music, you know. Pretty girls is pretty girls. And this is another anime that's interesting, but it's a short anime. Daddy meets girl. Some romance short anime. I don't know, guys. I feel this anime I definitely disappointed because I like this kind of genre, right? Yeah, My Cup. My Cup is really weird because half the episode is like live action and the other half is like the girls. It's very weird. Yeah, not a big fan of that. And then hockey girls, not a media project thing. Whatever. I really don't feel this. All the bottom here for the Shonen Eye stuff and the other stuff. Yeah, all silly stuff. Anyway, let's go up to the good stuff again. So again, right, of course, the only thing I really care about is Ghislaine, right? No, but I genuinely feel this season, and I feel I say this every season. I'm like, guys, this season looks pretty weak. I'm probably want to watch less animes and do more reviews talking about longer review content, something. It can be good for content wise, but less, yeah, I don't know, but I feel the season has two big hitters, right? Obviously, Tensei is a big hitter, and then they have Demon Slayer. It hasn't announced a date for Demon Slayer, but Demon Slayer is coming back one day, right? Next season, probably. And then you have those things that are announced. You have some comedy animes, right? To talk about. You have some interesting comedy animes, I would say. With yeah, I was going to, but I mean Komi-san and Mieruko-chan and so on. Yeah, different, you know, comedy animes that are decent. But otherwise, though, I feel this season is filled with some fantasy stuff that's interesting, and stuff, of course. But I mean, otherwise, I think it's filled with this kind of like, oh, this is a game and an anime and a mobile game and this thing and this thing. It's also like a live action or something. If you ignore the fantasy and the mecha stuff, yeah. The first one, yeah, I think is interesting. This might be good, right? But yeah, then it has like 6 animes that are this mixed media product, right? And this is what I kind of feel that the anime studios are definitely going down the drain, honestly, in my opinion. Because certainly some of this show, like this is the most prominent one, Takt Up Destiny, because it's from Mappa and Madhouse. So it feels that this would be the best one, given the the names on it, right? But maybe it's good. But I do feel definitely, I can say that stuff now, but like what's happening where they're just trying to make this stuff instead of trying to make good anime, they're just trying to like capitalize and try to make money on the gaming or whatever, right? They're not aiming to make the best anime. They're aiming to just make like some kind of, you know, coexisting stuff with other stuff. Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, man. then I'd rather have fewer animes that are, you know, more focused on being animes, right? But of course, you always have like at least 50 animes per season, and if 6 or 7 of them are like this, you can just kind of skip them, right? It's not the end of the world, but it definitely to me is a weird thing that, well, maybe it's not weird, but no, honestly, I do find it kind of weird. I think that it has to be a saturation effect somewhere. I have to say from like a market standpoint, I think it's weird, because I feel like when they started doing this stuff, right, a few years ago, this like video game and anime and everything at the same time, people liked it, right, to some extent. And some people immediately were like, oh, this is like a scam to get money, right, yeah, and they don't want to buy the game and so on. But I feel now when it's like so many companies doing it, when it's so often, and this is so many of these mixed media projects, like, I do think it should reach like a saturation level where it should be hard to get customers doing this thing, right? Because if everyone's doing it, people are gonna get tired of that and be something else. It feels to be less effective every year, and especially now then, it's like 6-7 animes doing this year, it should be way less effective, in my opinion. I think so. It has to reach effective eventually, where the market will be tired of it. It has to be reached. This is how market effectiveness works. Sorry for this, I'm trying to go to movies, but sure, quickly movies are out. Sort of Ryan, it's a new movie, maybe brings like a new. Eureka 7 is a great stuff though, but most movies, this is interesting. The only one I can have, Summer Ghost, I mean, but not too much yet. But I don't know, and I feel the movies are mostly the same thing, right? We have movies based on already existing animes. There's like 2 new movies here, right? So 10 is, yeah. Fafnir, yeah. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing with movies. It's not as bad, but I do find it in a similar vein, where it's like they don't have the guts anymore to do new movies. They kind of just like, let's just do, you know, the 11th season of this anime in a movie, right? They're not really producing that many more new movies like they used to. Instead, it's like, let's make this thing, and of course OVAs are the same thing. I don't know, look at too much. I guess Baki is the only OVA, it's like an actual show, I guess, yeah, like 2 episodes. This though is a Baccarino OVA coming. It's interesting. I haven't watched that though. It's like a 1 episode, right? But anyway, guys, that's the 4th season. I always feel very negative. No, but I think it's like since the very stacked season earlier, and I feel the last 2 seasons have been uberly stacked. I think it's always been like at least 1 good anime every day though, this year, or basically. So that's awesome. But I definitely feel like this season, you know, it depends on when they're airing. Yeah, it depends on when they're airing. But I could see that for me, honestly, being a day where I don't have any anime to watch, that was something else. Like I probably watch old anime, review an old anime or game for that matter, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I sound super negative. I said that was the same lesson too. But I honestly, I don't think. I mean, this season currently, I think it's decent, right? I think it's decent. I don't think it's the best thing ever. I think it's decent. I think it has some really good animes. I think it has a lot of like mediocre animes, yeah, and of course some really bad ones. But I think it mostly has a few really good ones, and most are in the middle, right? Most are mid. And I feel this season also looks kinda, you know, a few good ones. Like this is good. Mushoku Tensei, this is really good. And that's like a few mid. But let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think so with all these media mixed things, because they usually aren't good. They usually don't. They usually have bad pacing. So on. I doubt it. Right? Man, I feel very negative today. It was a lot of the money I lost. So I blame all the money I lost, man. Bad day in the market. Lost so much money. And it's very frustrating with my broker. Can't sell my stocks, man. It's very frustrating. But maybe it's negative. Maybe. But see you guys tomorrow with Slime, of course. Valpurgis Night still ongoing. Very, very good episode last week with Slime. That's probably, you know, Slime. Yeah. Dragon's Maid. Those are definitely up there, right? On the weekdays. Yeah, but Slime is gonna be awesome, man. That is like the indie climax, you know. Slime is an anime where it's like, it's kind of slow, some episodes, and then it has amazing climaxes, then it's kind of slow again, right? It's definitely like a build-up anime where it kind of goes like that, right? And now you're definitely up here, right? Now at the climax, then it's probably gonna, I guess, stay for climax of the episodes. Maybe it's gonna go down, but yeah, it's kind of like, that is very Slime, I feel, where it's like 2-3 episodes are amazing, and then it's like 2 episodes with like a build-up, and then it's 2 episodes that are amazing, up and down, right? And now currently you're definitely in the